Good morning. I am Advocate Dinesh Kumar, a practicing advocate and a law teacher. Today I am going to speak about a recent business module called LLP, Limited Liability Partnership. LLP has a origin from United States of America. It started in early 90s, 1990, early 90s in United States of America after the collapse of real estate field and also in the oil sector, pre-slash of oil and natural gases. And also there was a lot of collapse of financial institution and total slowdown of US economy, for that matter, European economy also. It has an impact on Asia also. Southeast Asia also suffered a major setback. So United States introduced a new business module, which is a combination of partnership, Indian partnership, as well as a company. This LLP is a hybrid of the company as well as a partnership. It has the advantages of the company as well as the advantages of a partnership. In India, LLP has came into force, Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008 has came into force on 1st April 2019. Even though the parliament lawmakers passed in 2008, December, in and around December, and it has got the presidential assent on December 2008, but it has come into force, even though it is published in Gazette in the January, it came into force on 1st April 2009. And first LLP has also formed in 1st April 2007. Let us see in this share, let us see in these slides what is LLP. The coming slides will explain you regarding the LLP. Yes, it is a limited liability partnership. It is an emerging corporate form. It is an emerging corporate form of business. Today, everybody are talking about ease of doing the business. So, this is a hybrid of the partnership as well as a company. It took some roots from Indian Partnership Act 1932 as well as the Company Act. Major advantages of the LLP is that LLP is a body corporate, unlike the partnership. The liability of the partnership is limited to the extent of agreement or guarantee given. And also, LLP Act 2008 was passed by Lok Sabha on 12th December 2008, and the President gave the assent to the bill on 7th January 2009. LLP Rules 2009 notified on 1st of April 2009. Constituent of LLP Act 2008 are LLP Act contained 81 sections, 4 schedules, and 29 forms. Out of 81 sections, 75 sections were so far notified, except the provisions on winding up and dissolution. As all of you know, what is winding up and dissolution. In the next video, we will be discussing about this winding up operation in detail. Out of 4 schedules, Schedule 1 defines the mutual rights and liability of partners in absence of any matter in LLP agreement, and other schedule prescribed provisions relating to conversion. This is the first schedule, defines about the mutual rights and liabilities of the partners. What is limited liability partnership? It is, as I told you, it is an hybrid of corporate and partnership business model. It has advantages of a partnership as well as advantages of a corporate sector, that is a company. Limited liability of partners extends to their contribution. Their personal assets will not be liable for the attachment, lien, or whatever it is. It provides flexibility without imposing detailed legal and procedural requirements. The organization's operations are on the basis of the operation of LLPs based on the mutual agreement. And also, this will explain you regarding the salient features of LLP. It is a body corporate. It is a separate legal identity, different from its members. It has a perpetual succession. It has a limited liability towards a partnership, and only it has to be associated only for the profit motive. Some exceptions are there that we will discuss in the coming slides. Okay. Benefits compared to partnership. LLP has the following benefits compared to the partnership. You can see in the slides. It has an unlimited number of partners, unlike the partnership. There is, as you know, Indian Partnership Act 1932 defines certain number of partners. It cannot be more than that. But in the LLP is concerned, there is no such restriction. LLP can have unlimited number of partners. Second is that liability of partners is limited. Second point is that liability of partners is limited. And also, LLP is liable to the extent of assets. No liability of partner for the wrongful act of the other partner. As you know, in the Partnership Act, major test to determine whether partnership or not is the mutual agency, the doctrine of mutual agency. One partner is liable for the wrongdoing of other partners. Here it is not so. One partner is not at all liable for the action of the other partner. Mutual agency is lacking in limited liability partnership. Please remember, mutual agency is not there. One partner is not liable for the action of other partners. And also, no exposure to the personal asset of the partner except in case of fraud. It's very clear from this statement. Personal assets, your house, your car, your other businesses, your jewels, nothing will be attached for the omissions and commissions of the Limited Liability Partnership Act. And also, we will see what are the advantages of the LLP when comparing with a corporate firm. Comparing with a corporate firm, the LLP has a following advantage. That is, it is easy to run and manage comparing with a corporate. Internal structure and governance are through mutual agreements. And also there is no minimum contribution is required, and government's intervention and this Inspector Raj. Normally we used to say Inspector Raj, because when you incorporated a company, you have to approach minimum 4 to 5 departments for various things. Various inspectors will come, and the company cannot be incorporated at all. Such thing is not there. Easy incorporation and easy operational procedures, and also there is no need to require much statutory records. Statutory records, maintenance of statutory records is less when comparing with the company, and also lesser filing of forms, and also no wealth tax. Another key concept of limited liability partnership are that there should be partners and designated partners. There are two types in LLP, unlike Partnership Act. Partnership is a mutual agency. One partner is a principal to other and agent to other. Agent to the firm and agent to each other. But here there are two types of partners. One is a LLP. Here means LLP partners are two types. One is designated partner and other is a ordinary partner. And contribution also can be vary from partner to partner. Role of partner is well defined in the agreement. Liability of partner is well defined in the agreement. Formation and conversion also the clause also has been given. And also for an LLP, a LLP limited liability partnership which is incorporated in outside the territorial limit of India also can be operated in India with certain conditions, and certain forms also has been provided. We will see in the coming slides. Reservation of name by foreign LLP bar foreign company. That forms will be given in the end of this session. Compromise and arrangement, that is arbitration clause, also has been given in the agreement itself. Dissolution and winding up procedure also has been mentioned well in the act itself, and a taxation policy has been well defined. And also we will see now, these coming slides will give you certain different features of it, some different characteristic of it. Suppose, see, there is a concept called, most of you who studied the company law, who studied the law papers, will be knowing about a concept called corporate veil. Most of the people are using the company nowadays. It has increased that they keep the company to satisfy some of their ulterior motives and agendas. Here, to safeguard such fraud, misconduct, suppression of facts, and also to save the others, to save the government and save the public from the fraud. Here is some provisions has been given in the LLP. We will see one by one what are the provisions. One is a mandatory imprisonment with penalty. mandatory imprisonment with penalty for false statement, fraud, non-compliance of orders of tribunal, company law board, court, extra. It is incorporated in section 11, subclause 3, that is section 37, section 30, and 73 of the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2009. Mandatory imprisonment, not only penalty, mandatory imprisonment, not this part. Mandatory imprisonment is given in this part, this act. So that this fraud and misconduct, I don't want to name anybody. You know, most of you will be knowing what are the types of fraud is happening by using the corporate veil, by saying that company is different, I am different, company is a body corporate, it is a separate personality, it is a juristic personality, everything is okay. But suppose you conduct misuse it, suppose you misappropriate it, suppose you conduct a fraud in it, there is a mandatory provision, mandatory imprisonment clause has been given in the Limited Liability Partnership Act. Lawmakers are very conscious about it. Second point is unlimited liability of partners and LLP. In the event of business are carried out with the intent of defrauding creditors or third parties, this unlimited liability of partners and LLP will not protect them. Waiver of penalty and protection against future vindicative actions to whistleblowers. That, as you know, nowadays the Whistleblowers Act is Whistleblowers Bill is going to come in the Parliament. Already in so many other developed countries it has come. So it has to protect, the whistleblowers has to be protected. Section 31 of the LLP Act 2009 provides that also. LLP is liable to third party to the extent of credit received by it or any financial benefit derived on falsely holding out of a person as partner of LLP. Section 29 of the LLP Act is elaborating this. Central government by notification may apply the extent of any provisions of Company Act 1956 with or without notification to LLPs. Central government reserves its right to apply to extend any provisions of the Company Act 1956 or the Amendment Act 2013 or the latest amendment also has come to the extent that if they feel to the extent that to protect the interest of the public as well as the government, and also to avoid fraud, misappropriation, and all these things, any modification can be done. They can affect any provisions of the Company Act to the LLP Act with or without notification. With the modification, without modification, they can do it. They have reserves the right. Central government reserves its right to affect any of the provisions of the Companies Act to the LLP also. Next slide. Partners and designated partners. As I told in my earlier talk to you, in my earlier discussion, I told you, there is two types of partners in LLP. One is a designated partner, another is a partner. Clear? Limited liability partnership is concerned, there are two types of partners. One is a designated partners, another is a partner. What is the difference between designated partner and partners? We will see in the coming slides. Any individual or the body corporate may be a partner. It means anybody can be a member. Any individual can be a member in a LLP. Whether he may be a natural personality or artificial person or juristic person or body corporate, he can also be a member in the LLP. Understood? Not understood. I will tell. Any individual means natural personality can be a member in the LLP. But a body corporate, that is artificial person or juristic person, can also be a member. A company can be a member in an LLP. Understood? A company can be a member in an LLP. Body corporate means as defined in under section 3 of the Companies Act 1956 or the Amended Act. Limited liability partnership registered under LLP Act. Limited liability partnership incorporated outside India and company incorporated outside India. And this can be body corporate means these things. We will see these people can be, the above said people can be very well be a partner in a LLP, limited liability partnership firm. He can be a partner. There is no restriction whether he's a natural person or artificial person or juristic person or corporate person, because LLP is different from its members. It is not like partnership. Even though the name ends with a partner, limited liability partnership, it is entirely different. Understood? It is entirely different from the partnership. It's a separate entity. LLP is a separate entity. It is a body corporate. So another body corporate. Body corporate means he may be a company, he may be another LLP, he may be a LLP incorporated outside India. These people can be a member. We will see now what do you mean by designated partner. The act is very clear in that designated partner. Every LLP should have at least 2 designated partners. All the limited liability partnership firms have 2 designated partner. The condition is that the designated partner should be the natural persons. The juristic person cannot be designated as a designated partner. The designated partner should necessarily be natural personalities. Among them also there is one condition. At least one person should be a natural resident of India. He shall be a resident of India. Responsibility for managing day-to-day affairs and ensuring the compliance of all applicable laws as prescribed in the LLP Act 2009 is entrusted with these 2 designated partners. Another requirements, we will see what are the other requirements needed for a designated partner. A designated partner should have designated partner DPIN, designated partner identification number. DPIN is one of the prerequisites to become a designated partner. Only individual can be assigned the DPIN. Artificial person cannot assign DPIN. And as I told you, if the LLP concerned, suppose there is one condition, you form an LLP. LLP contains not even a single natural person. Body corporate. It can happen. Nothing wrong. LLP Act 2009 doesn't prescribe nothing against it. This act doesn't prescribe nothing against this type of provisions. So what we should do, how to move about? Here there is another provision is given. In this slide it is mentioned. Body corporate can nominate the designated partner, but the designated person should be natural person. He cannot be an artificial person. Each partner in LLP, we were discussing about contribution or share capital and contribution towards LLP. Each partner shall bring contribution to LLP nature and amount and shall be disclosed in the accounts of LLP. Very clear. The sentence is very clear. Their contribution will be made it black and white in the book of accounts. Contribution can be tangible, movable, immovable, or intangible form. In case of tangible or intangible form, other than cash form of contribution. That means other than cash form of contribution. The contribution by way of service contract, it shall be valued by practicing chartered accountant. A CA has to evaluate, or an approved valuer can approved valuer or cost accountant. Suppose in a LLP, I join there as an advocate. I joined there as an advocate in that LLP firm. Their job is to file cases, and I may not be contributed as a cash, but I am conducting their cases. I am conducting their cases, or I am defending their cases in the court. So my contribution, how you can evaluate my contribution? I am not contributed anything in money. How you will contribute? How you can assess my contribution? It is only by way of somebody else has to. That is, chartered accountant can evaluate what is the cost, what is my standing in the bar, or what is my fees, and all these things he can evaluate. Or another person who can evaluate is a cost accountant. Cost accountant can evaluate. or approved valuer who are expert in that field. Normally, suppose you defend this thing, or his contribution can be valuable. This is the intangible form can be evaluated by a professional. That's the take home. Take home point is that intangible form has to be evaluated by a professional. Role bar rights of a partner. As you seen in the Partnership Act, rights of a partner are he has a right to participate in management. First right. Second, for the business purpose, agents of LLP are not of the other partners. One partner is not an agent of other partners in case of LLP. And also everybody are bound. They have ethical duty to comply with all provisions of LLP Act and LLP agreement. And also I will include the law of the land. They are supposed to comply, duly comply. They should not suppress any of the facts. And also we will see what are the liability of partners. Limited to the extent of contribution. As the name suggests, liability of a partner is limited to the extent of contribution. No personal assets will be attached. No personal assets will be attached, like your house or your car, or you have personal other things, your jewels, your many things you may have, but they will not attach this type of this thing. And also, one partner is not liable for the wrongdoing of the other partner. Unlike partnership. Suppose I am a partner in LLP, I done many wrong things. Other partners are liable in case of partnership. LLP is concerned, no. Other partner are not liable for the actions of, How they can be liable? Suppose I do some wrongdoing, other partners cannot be held responsible. Okay. And also unlimited liability of partners in case of fraud. That is very important. In case I commit a fraudulent transactions, I suppressed many things, and there comes outcome of that. My immunity of limited liability stand cancelled, and it become unlimited liability. We will see now the most important portion. How we will see what is that? How we will form an LLP? How an LLP can be incorporated? These slides will explain you. First, a step-by-step method is there. First and foremost thing is to get a DPIN, designated partner identification number. The forms used is form number 7. Second is a reservation of name of LLP. Name must be reserved with the authorities. That forms used is form number 1. Ideally speaking, form number 1 should have come first. Then filing of incorporation document in form number 2. Then filing of LLP agreement in form number 3. And next step is filing of consent of partners for designated partner. There is one format with affidavit which has to be signed by the designated partners to consent to that they are willing to become a designated partner of the LLP. And also we will see what are the steps in incorporation. Parameters for deciding the partners and designated partner. There should be at least 2 partners. They can be either natural person, individuals, or they can be a body corporate or a juristic person or an artificial person. At least 2 designated partner out of total number of partners. Individuals, they should be natural persons. Body corporate cannot become a designated partner. At least 1 designated partner should be the resident of India. Okay. Step 2 of the incorporation. Step 2 towards incorporation is obtaining DPIN number in form number 7 and also to obtain digital signature. Digital signature of whom? The designated partner. DPIN, the full form is designated partner identification number. DPIN is 8-digit numeric number, and also online application in form number 7 has to be filed to central government. Submission of physical application along with identity and address proof of the applicants also has to be submitted in a hard copies. That is physical form. Physical form has to be, not only that e-filing is not enough, they have to submit to the hard copies or physical form. Everything has to be printed out in 3 sets and it has to be submitted to the central government. Step 3 of the incorporation is reservation of name availability for LLP. As I told you, form number 1, we are reserving the name and he will verify whether the names, some other company has been having the same name or not. Then they will issue the name. The word LLP, word limited liability partnership, in short we call it as an LLP. LLP shall be the last word in the name of the concern. Not to be identical or too nearly resemble to any other partnership firm, LLP, body corporate or trademark. You should not put the names which is very similar to yes, well-established body corporates, well-established partnership. Suppose you put the name Reliance Industries Limited, they will, chances of misrepresentation is there. People will think that it is a concern of Reliance Mukesh Ambani or something like that. And also, suppose you put the name TVS and company. TVS is a very popular company in India. So they will think that. So this type of, you should not violate the, there should not be the close resemblance or there should not be any type of misrepresentation. And also, you should not put the names like Indian company or Bharat Limited, Indian Oil Corporation, because that is government company, that is what they put. You cannot put Indian Petrochemicals, you cannot put like that, because it is prohibited by Emblems and Names Act 1950 and Rule 80. Emblems and Names Act, prevention of improper use. You cannot use the name India or Indian flag or Indian emblems, Ashoka Chakra or something like that. You are not supposed to use. It is a punishable offense, and also it has to be, fine also will be there. Imprisonment as well as the fine. If the business includes banking, stock exchange, non-banking finance companies, NBFCs activities, chit funds, microfinances, offering small contribution, small loans from public collection investment scheme, a copy of in principle approval of appropriate authority has to be obtained and it has to be attached along with that. Suppose you are doing a banking, you have to get approval from RBI, Reserve Bank of India. E-form number 1 to be filled by Register of Companies. Step 4 of incorporation. Form number 2 has to be used, incorporation document, along with the subscription sheet and proof of address of registered office of LLP has to be submitted. Where you are kept your registered office, for that address proof has to be submitted. For incorporation, you have to pay the prescribed fee. You are supposed to pay the prescribed fee for incorporation. This chart has given a incorporation fee. That is 200 rupees in form number 1, and form number 2 for incorporation document it is 500 rupees, and form number 3 for 50 rupees for registration, and also for partners consent another 50, and incorporation fee 800 rupees. This will vary when the turnover increases. When your initial capital investment increases, this will vary. On successful fifth step, fifth is the certificate of incorporation. That is, when you submitted all these things, register will say, yes, very good. Now you are become, your LLP firm has incorporated. Here is a certificate of incorporation, which is a conclusive proof that LLP has come into life, come into existence. There's a conclusive proof. They will say, congratulations, Mr. So-and-so, your LLP has, yes, conclusive evidence of registration of limited liability partnership. Execution and also incorporation. Registration of LLP agreement. Execution of LLP agreement is mandatory under section 23. In absence of agreement as to any matter, scheduled 1 will be applied. Filing of details of LLP agreement through Form E within 30 days of incorporation. Stamp duty on LLP agreement to be paid as per State Stamp Act. These are all the features. Features of scheduled one. These are all the these are all the features of scheduled one. All partners are entitled to share the equally capital and profit of losses. As it's understood, if there is a profit, that can be shared. If it is a losses, that also has to be equally shared. And also, they are supposed to indemnity to partners on personal liability in proper conduct of business. Every partner shall take part in the business. No partner shall be entitled to remuneration. Note this. No partner shall be entitled to remuneration. No partner introduced without the consent of. No new partner can be introduced without the consent of existing partners. All existing partners. All decisions with the majority of partners' consents has to be taken. All decision has to be taken with the consent of all majority of the partners. If possible, all, otherwise at least majority. Minutes to be recorded every 30 days. And also, LLP is supposed to render proper and true accounts to the authorities. All disputes will be referred to Arbitration Act. Compliance of LLP with the register is event-based, form number 3, 4, and 5, and 15. Regular based, form number 8 and 11. What is the difference between event-based and regular basis? Event-based means if something which is not normal has happened, that is called event-based. Regular based means it's a routine. Form number 8 and 11 has to be filed. Okay. We will see the last slide. Conversion of LLP. Who can be converted? A partnership firm can be converted to LLP. Suppose your firm is a partnership firm. If you wish, you can convert it to partnership firm. A private company can convert it to LLP, limited liability partnership, and also unlisted public. A company whose share has not to contribution from the public, and the share is not listed in any of the NSE or BSE, they can. Herewith, this LLP, I hope it is complete. Please subscribe my channel, and also if you like this, you like it, and share it also. Thank you very much. Thank you.